What is going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Thursday, March 14th, 2024. If you like this content, make sure you subscribe to our channel and smash that thumbs up. We appreciate all the love and support we've gotten in Pick Dawgz over the years. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in and joining me as we go along and break down the card to give you guys some free NHL winners. If you're looking for my best bets on the board, the games that I absolutely love, head to Pickdawgz.com, click that Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. Got a ton of action on Thursday's card. Lots of college hoops as the big boys are finally taking part in their conference tournaments. Got NBA on the board as well. Got a 3-pack from the NHL. Tons of value on the board. The best value of all, though, if you're going to, you can buy a daily package. We can make you some money, and we can sort of roll those profits forward as we head into another loaded weekend. But this is the prime time to hop on a long-term pass. The 3-day and the 7-day passes today are actually cheaper than buying each of my daily packages individually. And they're going to get you all of today's action as well as a couple of days for basically less than, but like I said, less than buying all of today's packages on their own. So definitely make sure you want to check out those. Like I said, got a loaded weekend ahead. I'm headed to Vegas next week, and if you followed me, last time I went to Vegas in January, we made a killing, especially on the NHL. So definitely hop on board. I can tell you guys, the money is going to be flowing. I'm going to meet Mitch. We're going to meet Jay. All the Pick Dawgz family. We're meeting up. Like I said, we're gonna crush the books in Vegas. But that's later on today. I do apologize that this is getting out so late. It's just with all the college hoops on the board, writing the stuff on the side, writing the articles on the side, doing the morning show and all that stuff. I haven't had time to come up for air since 10 o'clock last night. Been writing all through the night and been working all through the night trying to put everything together for you guys. So bear with me. I appreciate you guys. Still plenty of time to get these NHL winners in. We're still going to break down a 12-game NHL card for Thursday. You guys know the drill. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first game on Thursday's card takes us to the Key Bank Center where the Buffalo Sabres take on the New York Islanders. And, the problem with me with this matchup is that, the Buffalo Sabres are a solid team, but they're still wildly inconsistent. They're not making a push for a playoff spot. They're, well out of the playoff picture right now. And the New York Islanders, despite, having their win streak snapped in a 3-0 loss to the LA Kings, that was a bad spot for the Islanders. They're now 0-9 in their last 9 games in the second half of a back-to-back. But, still, they were playing fantastic hockey before that. And they just put up a dud. That's all it was. But I think going to Buffalo, I think the Islanders can have some success in this matchup. Like I said, I can't get behind the Sabres. Far too inconsistent for my liking. And we're getting a reasonable price with them. Give me the Islanders here at -111. Now we head to the PNC Arena for a matchup between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers. A headliner matchup between two of the better teams in the NHL. And, getting the Carolina Hurricanes with a cheap price at home, definitely a way that you could look in this one. But you know what? I'm actually going to take a shot here with the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers, they're the hotter team right now. Slightly, but they're still the hotter team. They've won back-to-back games in 8 of their last 9. The Carolina Hurricanes, they've won 5 of their last 7. It's a battle between two solid goaltending rooms, though. And, just for my money, you're giving me the best team in the NHL record-wise at even money. You could argue that they've been better on the road than they have been at home, just from a record standpoint. Got to take the Panthers here, at least take a shot on them at even money. Like I said, you're not going to get prices like this with the Florida Panthers off and the rest of the way. So give me the Florida Panthers at even money here. Now we head to the Nationwide Arena for a matchup between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Ottawa Senators. And a matchup that I really don't want any part of, if we're being honest. I mean, you got two of the worst teams in the NHL, or at least one of the worst teams in the NHL in Columbus, and an Ottawa team that's one of the worst road teams in the NHL. The Ottawa Senators, they did manage to snap their 7-game losing streak in a win over Pittsburgh. But here's the problem, is that the scoring is still an issue for Ottawa. They've scored 3 goals or less in each of their last 8 games. And even in the win at home over Pittsburgh, still managed only to score 2 goals in that game. I don't really trust them offensively, but I also don't trust the Columbus Blue Jackets even at home. This is a team that's also struggled to find the back of the net. If I had to pick a side, I'd maybe lean towards Columbus being at home, but I think the under 6.5 is the way to go. Not because I trust either goaltending group or either defensive unit here. I just think that these are two of the worst offenses going right now, and these are two teams that are going to flat out struggle to find the net. So give me the under 6.5 in this one. Now we're going to the Little Caesars Arena where the Detroit Red Wings take on the Arizona Coyotes, and another matchup between a pair of struggling teams right now. But I was leaning towards the Detroit Red Wings for a side in this game because the Detroit Red Wings are the only team with any sort of playoff implication to play for right now. They're currently in the wild card race in the Eastern Conference, while the Arizona Coyotes were at one point when they were actually playing well, but now they've fallen out completely. But the Detroit Red Wings are still tied with New York for that final wild card spot in the East. That being said, though, I'm not laying minus 170, minus 160 with the Red Wings, who are currently still riding that that 6 game losing streak. And the problem for Detroit has been the goaltending sucks. I mean, over the course of that 6 game losing streak, they've allowed 4 or more goals in all 6 games, totaling 30 goals in the 32 goals in the 6 games. But on the other side of that coin, Arizona, they've struggled themselves. The only solid defensive performance they had was a 4-0 win over these same Detroit Red Wings just under a week ago. But outside of that, they'd given up 4 or more goals in 4 of the other 5 games with that win over Detroit sandwiched in the middle. So even though it was a 4-0 win for the Coyotes last time, I think we see some goals in this game. I think this is the game where the goals finally break through. Taking the over 6.5, again with a lean towards the Red Wings. Now we head to the Bell Center for an original 6 matchup between the Montreal Canadiens and the Boston Bruins. And, the Montreal Canadiens, I've said it time and time again, in recent games that they've actually been a fairly profitable, underdog, especially on the plus 1.5 puck line. And they have a 21-12 record on the puck line at home this season. But the problem is that it's the Boston Bruins on the other side. And sure, the Boston Bruins just lost 5-1 to St. Louis. And Montreal, they've covered that plus 1.5 puck line in a lot of their recent games. But Boston has owned Montreal. They've won 10 of the last 12 meetings in Montreal. And while Montreal won the first meeting this season 3-2 in overtime, Boston's won the 2 meetings since by a combined score of 14-6. I just think that this is another beatdown spot for the Boston Bruins. And this one, I'm taking the Bruins on the puck line here. Now we head to the PPG Paints Arena where the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the San Jose Sharks. And man, this team is really struggling at. Oh, you thought I was talking about the San Jose Sharks? I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins, who have been brutal over the course of this little losing run that they've been on. They've lost 4 straight and 7 of their last 8 games. In 6 of those 7 losses, the Penguins have been held to 1 goal or less. They've scored just 2 goals over this 4-game losing streak. That's right, 0.5 goals per game in their last 4 games. San Jose Sharks, yes, San Jose Sharks have been struggling. They've lost 9 of 10, but they've also been fairly competitive. They've covered the plus 1.5 puck line in 5 of their last 6 games. And right now, the Penguins should not be laying minus 280 against anybody. I'm taking the San Jose Sharks plus the 1.5. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well, plus 225. Now we head to the Amalie Arena where the Tampa Bay Lightning take on the New York Rangers. And I don't know how many more times I have to shout it from the mountaintops. I'm done with the Tampa Bay Lightning. This team, I think their best years are behind them. The Lightning, sure, they just beat up on the Flyers 7-0 at home. And at home this season, they're 20 wins, 9 losses, 4 losses in overtime or shootout. But here's the thing. The Tampa Bay Lightning are getting priced like a team that still is, the one of the league's best teams. They're still priced as the defending Stanley Cup champions. They're still priced as, this team that's dominant and feared at home. Here's the thing. The New York Rangers are the far better team. The New York Rangers should be the favorite on the road as far as I'm concerned. They're the better overall team. Yeah, the Lightning have a couple great players in Nikita Kucherov and Victor Hedman and Steven Stamkos, Braden Point, Brandon Hagel, whatever. The Rangers are a good team, lines 1 through 4, all 3 defense pairings, and I'm inclined to give the Rangers the edge in starting goaltending as well, with Igor Shesterkin over Andrei Vasilevsky. Maybe Vasilevsky's back is still bothering him. Who knows? But he doesn't look like himself. The Tampa Bay Lightning just do not look like the Tampa Bay Lightning team of years past. I think this price with the Rangers is an absolute gift. They've won the last 3 meetings between these two teams, including both meetings this season by a combined score of 8-2, including a 5-1 win in Tampa Bay just before the calendar turned to 2024. Give me the New York Rangers on the money line at this one. Now we head to the Wells Fargo Center where the Philadelphia Flyers take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And, I'm going to go full homer here. I'm going to back the Maple Leafs in this one. The prices started to drop in favor of the Philadelphia Flyers to it's almost where it's at almost at a coin flip. But the Flyers, they've been alternating wins and losses in each of their last 8 games. They've been wildly inconsistent. So is Toronto. Toronto's alternated wins and losses in each of their last 5. But the thing is, the Toronto Maple Leafs have owned the Philadelphia Flyers in this matchup. Toronto's won 7 straight meetings between these two teams, including including the lone meeting this season by a final score of 4-3, and they needed overtime. But Philadelphia's been the better team on the road this season. At home, they haven't been as great, and Toronto, clearly a better team on the road. 19-7-6 on the road compared to 18-12-2 at home. I'm going to take the Toronto Maple Leafs at the reasonable price at minus 137. Or, well, I think it's actually dropped towards, like I said, minus 115, minus 120 now. Now we're headed to the American Airlines Center where the Dallas Stars take on the New Jersey Devils. And, right now, this is simply for me the case of the haves versus the have-nots. The Dallas Stars are the better team in better form. Sure, they just lost to the Florida Panthers, but like I mentioned earlier in the wraparound, the Florida Panthers are one of the best teams in the NHL. I think they're actually the best team in the NHL record-wise. So there's no shame in that for Dallas. And, the Stars are still we're on a 5-game win streak. And like I said, I could have called into question the level of competition that the Stars had played over those 5 games, but a win streak is a win streak. The New Jersey Devils, on the other hand, this team's been getting crushed more often than not as of late. They've lost 5 of their last 6. They've lost to teams like Anaheim, and they got blown out by the Kings, the New York Rangers, the Carolina Hurricanes. So while this is a bunch of solid teams that the Devils have been playing, the Dallas Stars, like I said, you can just add them to the list. Not a price that I love, but unfortunately, I can't find another way to go here. Maybe this is a parlay piece. I'm going to take the Dallas Stars at minus 172. You can maybe take them as a regulation play, but again, with the Dallas Stars, you always got to be concerned that maybe overtime could be in their future. So give me the Dallas Stars here, minus 172. Now we're heading to the XL Energy Center where the Minnesota Wild take on the Anaheim Ducks. And, the Anaheim Ducks are just struggling right now, really struggling to put results together, even though they've provided value in some spots. Lately, it's been all bad. I mean, they've lost their last 3 games by a combined score of 19-5 against the Dallas Stars, New York Islanders, and the Chicago Blackhawks. A 7-2 loss at the hands of Chicago last time out. I did not see that one coming for the Anaheim Ducks in that one. The Minnesota Wild, they've won 4 of their last 5. They've been putting the puck in the back of the net. They've scored 4 or more goals in all 4 of those wins. I just think the Anaheim Ducks are in a tough spot here. I'm going to take the Minnesota Wild on the puck line in this one. Now we're heading to the Scotiabank Saddledome for this matchup between the Calgary Flames and the Vegas Golden Knights. It's an all-Pacific division tilt. And you've got the Vegas Golden Knights. They've won back-to-back games. All of a sudden, they look like they're starting to turn the corner again. Beat the Seattle Kraken 5-4 in overtime. While the Calgary Flames, like the Anaheim Ducks, are another team that are flat-out struggling. In their last 3 games, this Calgary Flames team lost all 3. They've been outscored 18-5 in those 3 games. Granted, you played some tough teams in Colorado, Carolina, and Florida. But again, another team that you can add to that list are the Vegas Golden Knights, who are starting to get healthy. They're starting to play well again. And, the Vegas Golden Knights, I think they got a good chance to pick up some success this one. Now, interestingly enough, these two teams have traded wins back and forth in each of the last 10 games. So if you follow that pattern, well, Calgary won the last meeting 3-1. Probably means it's Vegas' time, but that's not why I'm taking the Vegas Golden Knights here. This is a spot where you want it. This is a prime example of why you want to be able to check starting goaltending. At the time this video is being recorded, there is no confirmed goalie for the Calgary Flames. When I last checked, Jacob Markstrom didn't skate with the team on Wednesday. He's been banged up. He missed Tuesday's game with a lower body injury. I'm leaning towards that he might not start here. Even if he does, I still like Vegas. But if he doesn't, you're starting either Dan Vladar or Dustin Wolf for the Calgary Flames, and neither one of those teams are number 1 caliber goalies, in my opinion. They're borderline backups. So give me the Vegas Golden Knights here. I think there's a clear edge between the pipes, and I think the Vegas Golden Knights ride that to a victory. And our final game on Thursday's card takes us to Climate Pledge Arena where the Seattle Kraken take on the Washington Capitals in a game that I don't really love, if I'm being honest with you guys, just to close out the card. These are two teams I just have a hard time getting a feel for. The Seattle Kraken are the better team, in my opinion, in this spot. But I don't want to necessarily lay this price with them, but I don't know if there's any other way to go. The Washington Capitals have been getting crushed over the first couple games of this West Coast road trip. They lost to Winnipeg and Edmonton by a combined score of 10-2. The Seattle Kraken, they've stumbled in their last couple of games, but they battled Vegas hard. And head-to-head, the Seattle Kraken have gotten the upper hand on the Washington Capitals. Again, not a game I'm rushing to the window to bet. If you felt the need to bet this one, I do lean towards the Seattle Kraken. But again, I don't love this price at minus 164. So tread lightly, but I'll go with the Seattle Kraken to round things out. That's it. That's all the NHL action for Thursday, March 14th, 2024. Again, if you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell in the description of this video below to get notified when the newest and freshest content drops here at Pick Dawgz. If you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium, and make sure to let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Good